Hi, everybody. Welcome to Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. I'm sure either you or someone you care about is suffering from a painful condition and would like to learn about regenerative care, about Kansas Regenerative Medicine, and about how we can potentially help you. That's what this presentation is for. It's designed to answer your questions and address the science and human side of stem cell treatments. Of course, you can go online and find a lot of information on regenerative medicine, and I'm sure many of you have already done that to some degree. But our goal here today is to make sure you know who we are and why we are so passionate about what we do and what makes our treatments so successful. I will be addressing the most common questions and misconceptions of regenerative care and describing the KRMC process for your treatment. So let's get started. I'm Kate Farley, Director of Marketing and Patient Education and a partner at KRMC. These two gentlemen are my partners and the founders of KRMC, John Farley and Ken Woods. Their story is similar to many of our patient stories, actually. They founded KRMC to bring others the same relief they found when they discovered regenerative medicine. And I'll show you a short video of them telling their story here in a little bit. Medicine has been notoriously linear in its thinking and slow to change and adapt to emerging and innovative ways of treating patients. Cellular medicine and regenerative therapies are quickly changing this. Top scientists and doctors have been working to crack the code on stem cells for decades now. I'd like to show you a quick video clip that highlights interviews from over 100 of the world's leading stem cell experts, researchers, and doctors, each working to bring forward these emerging technologies in their own unique way. This also shines a light on why the future is so exciting and how what once was thought of as science fiction is closer than we realize.
Our vision is within a decade, the trajectory of health will change.
Medicine is moving at such a fast pace right now.
Everything in medicine that we know now is going to change. Surgery, pharmaceuticals, well, now we're in the age of cells.
Cells will represent to doctors a much safer and more effective and sustainable way to treat all diseases that involve degeneration of tissue. So that's just about everything.
That's what they do. They signal your tissues in your body to heal thyself.
What interested you about stem cells?
Oh, the technology is incredible. 15 years ago, I would have said this is science fiction stuff, and it's with us right now.
In vitro fertilization was considered a wacky idea. Now it's something that we use every day and we take it for granted. Soon we'll see the same thing with stem cell therapies.
I've done my share of spinal operations on patients with acute spinal cord injury. One of my long-term goals is to not do lumbar fusion anymore, leave conventional surgery behind.
We're creating a healthcare revolution. There's really a desperation to try to find answers because business as usual is not going to fix the problem.
There's not a drug on the planet as safe as your own personal cells.
Our data is quality and accurate and depicts what's really going on with people clinically and subjectively and honestly. We can help everyone in the country have access to safe regenerative therapy.
The FDA is now actually working with manufacturers of cell therapy and regenerative medicine to allow for an accelerated approval pathway. As a species, we're pretty good at changing our paradigms.
It's a giant shift in thinking in the concept of being a physician and a healer.
5 years from now, any medical doctor coming out of any medical school must learn stem cell, otherwise they'll be left behind, period. We are a part of creating history.
Since we founded KRMC over 5 years ago, we've successfully treated thousands of patients and built a reputation as one of the top regenerative medicine centers in the country. I want you to know what our core values are because they really define us and I think show the kind of clinic we run. Quality. We've built this reputation by putting the quality of our care above everything else, and this is what sets us apart from other regenerative care options out there. To us, quality also means putting our patients and their safety first. When we founded KRMC, we didn't want to be another quick fix recovery pop-up that puts making money above helping patients. That's why we continually invest in our practice so that each of our doctors receives ongoing training and is always prepared to treat patients with the highest quality procedures and equipment available. The way we do regenerative care is top of the line, and that's why our treatments are safe, proven, and effective. Integrity. We believe quality care isn't possible without integrity, which we maintain by being trustworthy and transparent. You can trust us to be transparent about our treatment options and flexible with you as we develop personalized recovery plans that we honestly think will work for you. You can also trust us to suggest other treatment methods if we don't believe that regenerative medicine is your best option. We've worked hard to build a team of board-certified doctors who genuinely care about their patients and are passionate about what they do. Each of our doctors has extensive experience treating patients with regenerative medicine, and they are continually maintaining and advancing their knowledge and credentials. Our team is proud to follow the standards set by the Institutional Review Board Approved Research Network. When we founded KRMC, we truly believed regenerative medicine would advance orthopedic care and accelerate patient recovery with procedures that are less invasive, less painful, and ultimately more successful than surgical procedures. And we were right. People just like you are not only finding regenerative care, but they are also finding KRMC because we are one of the highest caliber providers of this treatment. Thousands of patients come from all over the Midwest and all over the nation to seek our care. And I believe that's because we value the quality of our care and our doctors, and they value that as well because of the many ways we show we care most about you, our patients. We know that regenerative care is not an alternative, but a real solution to potentially heal the pain from which many of you are suffering. And I'm here today so that stem cell therapy isn't a mystery, and you feel informed and prepared when you enter our clinic for your treatment. I know that you probably have a lot of questions about stem cell therapy as it's more recent medical advancement. And I'd like to take some time now to clarify some of the science behind it and address some common misconceptions. There are many different kinds of stem cell treatments, and it's important to first and foremost understand what kind of stem cells we use and why. We only use your own stem cells to accelerate healing, and we never use stem cells from other sources. Unfortunately, some media sources give stem cells a bad rap, and when many people think of stem cells, they often think of Wharton's jelly, cord blood, amniotic, and especially embryonic stem cells, which we never use any of those. Cells from sources other than your own body are proven to be less effective and have many documented risks. When these cells are coming from unknown donor sources, you know nothing about them. Historically, most tissue banks only screen for 10% of communicable diseases. It wasn't until the year 1985 when they started screening for HIV. What percentage of HIV patients received it from a blood transfusion? It wasn't anyone's fault. It was simply unknown. What disease are they not screening for today that will be deadly in the future? Are there other viruses that are responsible for human disease that could come from another person? Of course the answer is yes. Only cells that come from your own body that undergo sterile isolation or processing have no risk of communicable disease transmission. That is just one of the many examples I could give you. Ultimately, these types of cells do not meet our quality standards or core values, and that is why we only use your own cells from your own body. The stem cells we use, called adult mesenchymal stem cells, do not have any ethical issues. They come, for example, from your fat. Can you think of anyone who would object to giving up some fat? I know I can't. Our regenerative treatments enable you to utilize your own stem cells to accelerate healing and naturally replace lost or damaged tissue. So what exactly are stem cells and how do they work? On a basic level, stem cells are found throughout your body and have three main functions. They maintain regularly lost cells, like skin cells, as an example, so they are replacing naturally lost cells. Some of our cells just have a short lifespan, but as we lose skin to UV damage or flaking off, it's not like it goes away and we have a hole in our arm. How is that? Well, we have stem cells. As a cell goes away, a stem cell will recognize that happening and duplicate itself to replace that lost cell, and on and on and on it goes. That's one purpose. Second, They keep the immune system in check and control inflammation. They are capable of homing in or detecting a problem in a different part of the body and then moving to that part of the body to fix the problem. Last, and most importantly here, adult stem cells work together to replace damaged cells due to injury or disease. That's how a paper cut heals. Stem cells replace those injured cells by duplicating themselves and differentiating or changing to become the needed cell type and replace it. Drug treatments, on the other hand, mask inflammation and pain, but they cannot physically change the cells from pro-inflammatory to anti-inflammatory like adult stem cells can. Stem cells are just truly amazing. So we store supplies of stem cells in different parts of our bodies, ready to deploy whenever other cells are damaged. But as we age or experience big injuries, our stem cell movement slows. And so recovering from injuries takes much longer, or may not even be possible without assistance. So that's where regenerative medicine can help. In a minimally invasive and nearly painless procedure, we collect stem cells from a supply in your body, like your fat, where they are not needed, and reintroduce them where they are. Once placed, the stem cells will change into the healing cells necessary to replace lost or damaged tissue at the site of an injury or chronic pain. And stem cells do not just act as a band-aid to repair damaged tissue cells. They regenerate and replace them with new, healthy cells to get your body back the way it was before your injury. Okay, so let's imagine this roof is part of your body. This is not a paper cut. This is a significant injury. If you have a big leak like this and water is really coming in, you go into emergency mode. So this is your panic mode in the roof analogy. You throw a tarp over it, and it will keep the water out for a spell, but eventually it will get damaged, blow off, get a tear in it. It's not a real solution. It's a stopgap measure. But with regenerative medicine, we're not looking for a simple repair. We want to replace the damaged part of your roof. We want the body back the way it was. Okay, so let's take a look at a common real-life example. The guy on the left starts getting cortisone shots to help with a painful joint or torn ligament. Cortisone is an anti-inflammatory that will temporarily relieve pain. At first, it seems to work well, but then the pain returns within 6 months or so. He has to go back and get another cortisone injection. This time, the relief only lasts 3 months. So he goes back and gets another one, and it only lasts 4. He wants to get another injection to relieve his pain. However, he is restricted from getting another cortisone shot for another 2 months. Now his pain continues without relief. Not only did the cortisone not solve his problem, what he's probably not even aware of is that he is on a long downward spiraling path leading to a surgical joint replacement. This is because the cortisone shot is actually weakening the tendons by slowly deteriorating them over time. And physicians are starting to use alternatives because of this now known problem. Stem cells, on the other hand, don't just temporarily mask the pain. They heal the injured joint by replacing the damaged tissue cells with healthy cells. The woman on the right finds relief and maintains relief after only 1 treatment, and without additional treatments on top of that. So, because stem cell therapy is an outpatient procedure that only takes a few hours and does not require general anesthesia, it has a quicker recovery time and is far more convenient than surgery. This saves her time, discomfort, and depending on her insurance and deductibles, it may also save her money. So, what can it treat? We offer medically proven, extensively researched regenerative treatment options for many common injuries and chronic pain conditions. For example, this includes neck and upper back pain, shoulder injuries, rotator cuff tears, spinal disc issues, hip injuries, arthritis, nerve entrapment, ACL and meniscus tears, tendon injuries, ligament sprains, and many more, including some autoimmune, neurological, cardiac, and pulmonary ailments, such as MS, rheumatoid arthritis, neuropathy, asthma, and much more. It's noteworthy that we are often asked about back pain. Yes, we definitely treat backs. That's an area that differentiates us from other regenerative providers. Now, what to expect in your procedure. We use a highly sophisticated ultrasound instrument with enhanced visualization. Your physician will collect stem cells from fatty deposits in your body, like your flank or your glove handles or your hip bone, and inject them into the area or areas that need them. This is a minimally invasive and safe procedure. Stem cells are collected under sterile conditions using a special closed system technology so that your cells never come into contact with the environment throughout the entire process from removal to deployment. Other sterile techniques and antibiotics are also used to prevent infection. Your treatment will only last about 2 to 4 hours and is, of course, outpatient procedure. It is nearly painless and requires only a small amount of local anesthesia. You will be fully awake and aware during your treatment and can communicate with your doctor at any time if you have any questions or are uncomfortable. Because stem cells replace and heal damaged tissue, your treatment isn't simply a bandage, like I've said, or a way to just manage the pain. It's a way to potentially heal the pain. Now, many patients only require one procedure, but in some cases, multiple stem cell treatments are needed, and we will work with you to carefully determine what is best for you. And yes, your doctor can treat multiple areas in the same procedure on the same day. In some cases, we also administer an IV of your stem cells to enhance your body's natural healing process. The end goal, though, is always the same. We want to help you avoid unnecessary procedures and temporary solutions by using your own stem cells to replace damaged tissue and potentially permanently heal your pain as much as possible. At your consultation, be sure to tell your doctor about any other conditions you have, even if they are not the reason you came to KRMC. It is possible that various stem cell treatments could help with some of those. We're proud to have an over 80% success rate with our treatments. Your potential for success varies based upon what is being done, how extensive your condition is, how many treatments we are doing, and your overall health. When you meet with our physicians, they will provide you with your personalized outlook. After your one-on-one custom consultation with our physician, we will give you more individualized expectations in regards to your specific condition. There's little to no recovery time after your stem cell treatment. In fact, most people return to work the following day and start to feel results within weeks to months. Truly, I think the best way to describe the procedure and results is to let our patients do it. This is one I particularly love because it's so honest. Everyone going into something new is going to have reservations of one kind or another, like Tammy here did. But listen to what she said. I love that your clinic was local in Kansas and that there was little downtime post-procedure. I told my gym instructor that you just can't believe it's going to work like it does. You hear people say it's a miracle, but you can't imagine those kinds of results until it happens to you. This is one of the best things I've ever spent my money on, Tammy. Remember, not only do we operate KRMC, but we have been patients too. And because we have done this, we know it's not just the science that's important, it's the experience. It's your comfort and well-being throughout the treatment. On the day of your procedure, you'll be given a comfortable and private waiting room for you and anyone that you bring with you to enjoy and relax in. You can kick back in the reclining chair and help yourself to snacks and drinks at our snack bar, and you can have access to Netflix, Hulu, or cable TV on your private flat screen. You will also have access to Wi-Fi, and we will ask you what type of music you enjoy listening to. We can play your favorite music in both your private waiting room as well as the procedure room. And if you come from a long ways away, we will also put you up in a close by hotel at no additional charge. It's this kind of complete attention to you that we believe in. Our patients and our staff are really kind of our family, and we recognize how important it is that we do everything we can to make your treatment as easy and painless as possible while taking the time to get to know you and your condition so that treatment is appropriately tailored. A huge percentage of our patients find KRMC from a referral from past patients. This is the best compliment anyone can get and affirms that we really are genuine about personalizing your experience and exceptional in our treatments. We offer free consultations with our doctors. They'd love to meet with you in person. However, they can also do it over the phone if that works better for you. During that consultation, your doctor will get to know you and your condition and answer any questions that you may have. And then the physician will also need to see any recent images of your condition, so bring those x-rays or MRIs if you have them within the last year, maybe 2 years, just depending old. And if you are needing to get new x-rays or MRIs, we do have a preferred relationship with diagnostic imaging, and by paying cash, can offer you an enormous discount on your imaging, and it can also be done the same day. So after reviewing your medical history and needs, if your doctor feels that stem cell therapy is the best option, then we can schedule your procedure if you'd like. So I hope that I've answered many of your questions about KRMC and regenerative medicine. It's important to me that you leave here today knowing that your safety and care are what drives our practice, and that our stem cell treatments utilize your own cells to replace damaged tissue and relieve your pain. We never use outside sources. Our treatments are only administered by board-certified and highly experienced doctors who utilize the most advanced equipment and techniques available. Our process is the highest caliber, and in the end, it's about results, because we value quality and integrity and always put you first. Prove where we stand and how effective our regenerative treatment really is. I know that you have many options regarding injury repair or pain management or even regenerative medical care. And I'm glad that you took the time to do your research and to find us. So if regenerative medicine is the best option for you, I'd like to do whatever I can to make it possible. I'd like to say that you've already started that process of healing by just being here today, and we will help you through the rest. You can also access more information and answers to commonly asked questions on our website, of course. There's a whole section about stem cell therapy with more specific information about the conditions that we treat and the procedures that we offer. And don't hesitate to call or email us anytime if you have any additional questions or can't find information that you're needing. So here's our contact information, but it's also on the back of the patient info packets that I handed out earlier. So I'd like to leave you today with a couple more of our success stories. It's stories like these that really remind us why we do what we do.
When you're around cattle, you're very prone to injuries. Any agriculture field, you're prone to injuries. I've had 4 knee surgeries, 2 shoulder surgeries. Then I had another accident crawling out of a skid steer loader feeding cattle, and I went one way and my boot stayed in the skid steer, and so I broke my knee in a couple places and then had to have another surgery. My brother had worked with a veterinarian in California, one of the foremost stem cell clinics in the country, and I just really became intrigued by that. He told us of a couple doctors in Beverly Hills that had just started.
We knew that none of our friends and family would go to Beverly Hills, California and get stem cell therapy. We both know a ton of farmers and ranchers that needed stem cell therapy so they could go to work every day. And we checked around, couldn't find anything close in the Midwest. So as we talked about it, we said, why wouldn't somebody start one here?
Initially, when I got started with this, it was a bit of a leap of faith on our part. And now that we're years later and many, many patients, we're beyond a leap of faith because now I'm seeing the results.
My name's Karen Cope and I have multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed with MS on October 7th, 2008. About 2 years ago, I decided that I was done taking the medication and went off everything. I heard about the stem cell research with the Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center in Manhattan, Kansas. Before we decided to do that, I had cognitive testing done, and I kind of felt like I wanted a benchmark to know if this really worked or not. And then July of 2017, we went to the Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center in Manhattan and had the stem cells done. The procedure went very well. The first week I thought, okay, is this the placebo effect? Is this really working? And I talked to my husband about it, and he was kind of like, well, who cares? You feel better. So as time went on, the fatigue went away. Things like my handwriting improved. Muscle spasms were gone. The aches and pains of my everyday life with MS just were gradually fading away. The 6 months mark after the stem cells, I had the cognitive testing completed again. And the results indicated that I had a 6-point increase in my cognitive abilities. It was like somebody had taken Windex and washed all the fog off my brain. So I had the concrete, validated information that stem cells worked.
In March of this year, I had a problem with my shoulders and considerable pain. I was taking a fair amount of pain pills just to sleep at night, and heard about the Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. We scheduled a time. I came in and I had both shoulders treated. I had the treatment on a Saturday afternoon. I went home and I did chores, fed the cows that night, fed them the next morning. I didn't miss a day of work. It was absolutely amazing.
A lot of different ways of doing this woodwork, but all of it still takes both hands.
He had been told that by the orthopedic specialist in Enid, Oklahoma, that they would have to fuse his thumb.
And I said, no, cut it off, because I didn't want it sticking up. And I found out about the Kansas Regenerative and went to Manhattan. And he took out the stem cells. It took about an hour for him to process them before they put him back in my knees and my thumb. And we were out of here in about 4 hours and on our way back home. And I'm in here today to have my shoulders, my hips, and my back done. So I'll be able to go back to my sawmill, my shop, and do about anything I want to do.
Well, I am Marilyn Jones. I live in Peabody, Kansas. I had a couple of torn rotator cuffs, and the right one got to the point where I could hardly lift my arm. Well, since I'm the only one doing the farming and Carrie can't really do very much of anything, and I hear the stories about the stem cells, and I had it done in my right shoulder. And for a while I didn't see any progress at all, and then all of a sudden I thought, mercy, I can raise up my arm and it doesn't hurt. So my experience with stem cells has really been great.
Anyway, we come up here and got this treatment, put some in my shoulders because I couldn't bend my head like this. I finally started getting my memory back, and I'm able to do about everything I was doing before, maybe more. I went outside and raised my hand and praised the Lord, you know.
When I learned about this process, I thought if there was a way to get rid of this pain, then I wanted to do it. So we did it and it worked.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses and my shoulders took such a beating, decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
I had stem cell therapy in my hips and my left knee. Since then, my hips are feeling a lot better.
I was in an accident where I fell off a roof. I had my neck done, my shoulders section of my back, my hips, my sacrum, my sciatica, and my tailbone. Now I am having better range of motion in my arms and my neck and my back.
About 1.5 years ago, got to where I couldn't saddle a horse. The pain was terrible. Read about stem cell, went and had it done. I can do the things I used to do, and I want to personally thank the doctors, nurses, staff at Kansas Regenerative Medicine for the opportunity they give me to have my life back again.
I had my hips and knees done the same day and couldn't walk when I came from the car ride up. Could walk out on my own, and when I got home, could walk into the house by myself. I have not had a meloxicam, which is a pain reliever and anti-inflammatory, since January of last year.
I was here about 2 years ago and had my shoulder, had stem cell replacement in my shoulder. And it's been super for me. It's been a wonderful 2 years. My arm not only is very mobile, but it doesn't get sore. It
It gives me no trouble whatsoever.
I am sold on KRMC just because I have seen it firsthand, what it does and what it's done for my husband and for my son. And there was no question when I started having trouble with my right hip what I was going to do. I knew what I was going to do.
The mobility I have in my shoulder, prior to the therapy, this was as far as I could do this fine. I guess with the rotator and everything, you can't go this way. And I would be stopped right here. Well, now I've got all that flexibility back.
I can tell you that I don't have that fear of going up and down stairs anymore. I was crippled before, and I'm not now. And I won't be getting my knees replaced for quite some time.
You know, the people of the Regenerative Center do care about others. I've been highly impressed. The center and its work is centered around trying to help others. You know, and I think we're on the cutting edge of what lies ahead.
Blaine suffered a traumatic brain injury.
He couldn't hold his head up. He couldn't sit up straight. He couldn't use his arms other than to shake your hand. If you put your hand in his, he could hold it a little bit grasped, but he couldn't move his arms and utilize them. He had no use of his legs. They traveled all the way back down here to Manhattan specifically to have stem cells done at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center just because of the reputation that we started to develop around the country.
It's like they're waking up. Like they've been sleeping and the stem cells are making that connection now in the brain so that the arm, hand, and leg are starting to work again.
Without this place, without KRMC, I don't know where we'd be today.
With 5 years of experience and nearly 2,000 patients from across the country, KRMC has built a reputation and a track record for helping people improve their quality of life. There's a reason people choose KRMC.
Thank you guys so much for coming today. We are looking forward to working with each of you as you make important decisions about your recovery. Thank you guys. Have a great day.